Good morning, I'm Neva Manu, and this is your morning news fix for Monday, 7th of October. In this update, the sinking of the HMNZS Manawanui of Samoa is the first loss of a naval ship in peacetime. 75 people aboard the survey vessel were rescued yesterday morning, with 2 needing hospital treatment after it hit a reef near Upolu. Whether the $100 million ship is recoverable largely depends on the depth of the wreckage. The New Zealand Defence Force is now working to get the crew home and mitigate environmental effects. Marine ecologist Phil Ross says those will include the physical impact of the ship hitting the reef and the potential for oil to spill.
Probably in the longer term, depending on how much of the ship remains on the reef, there could be impacts of metals from the ship itself, from the anti-fouling paint and from the cargo.
There's no guarantee projects listed on the government's fast-track approvals bill will get funding. 149 projects are being lined up to receive the fast-track treatment. It would see the building of up to 55,000 new homes, 180 kilometres of roads and 11 mining projects. Infrastructure Minister Chris Bishop says just because a development's listed on the bill doesn't mean funding is attached.
There are clearly a range of projects here that have big funding implications for both the Crown but also the private sector. The funding is separate and we go through a budget process and a funding process.
But Forest and Bird says New Zealanders haven't been able to have a proper say on projects lined up to be fast-tracked. Advocacy General Manager Richard Cappy says they're sending an open letter to the committee asking it to hold off until it hears public submissions. He says if you're in a community like the Coromandel, where the Oceana gold mining projects are being pushed through, you should be able to sit down with the committee. Dunedin's Mayor has given an indication of what clean-up work will look like over the coming days. The state of emergency was lifted yesterday afternoon following the severe rain event which caused flooding, evacuations, road closures and slips. Mayor Jules Raddick says they'll be working hard and fast to help people get back to business as usual.
There will be skips provided at the ice stadium if people have damaged goods. There'll also be volunteers with trucks and trailers going around the streets picking up the sandbags.
People are being asked to wear gloves when handling sandbags. Auckland's Pacific population is growing and the education level is rising. Economic and cultural agency Auckland Unlimited is hosting a series on Pacific community economic insights. At the same time, it's released a report it commissioned which looks at Auckland's Pacific population and its economic future. It's found the population is younger than Auckland's overall population and the education level is increasing. Chief Executive Nick Hill says the Pacific population is expected to grow to around 27% of Auckland's population by 2042.
Auckland's population has an average age of around 35. Pacifica's average age is 25. That's a substantial difference.
And in sport, Penrith have secured their status as Australian League's greatest club team since 1966, claiming their 4th straight premiership 14-6 over Melbourne in the NRL final. A dead rubber triumph for New Zealand against England in the 3rd and final Tiny Jamison Trophy netball test in Invercargill. They lost the series 2-1 but won the fixture 61-56. And golfer Kazuma Kobori has finished in a share of 12th at the Dunhill Links Championship in Scotland. I'm Neva Manu and that's your latest news fix. We'll be back with the next update at midday from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.